If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.
You want to know why we're lonely? Because we've architected our lives to be lonely. Of course it's hurting us. We are social animals who've over-indexed on rugged individualism. We heroize CEOs. Like, I love you, you're great, you're wonderful, but people consider you a hero and their business guru, blah, blah, blah. I know for a fact that you didn't do it alone. I know for a fact that you've got teams of people who make you look good.
What are you talking about?
I know for a fact that people took bets on you, took risks on you. I know for a fact that people made introductions for you. I knew when you had nothing. Sure, you had moxie. Sure, you had talent. But if it weren't for people who tried, supported, helped, opened a door, there would be no Stephen Bartlett.
Of course. Even my parents, the first people I think about is my parents. I don't know why they cared so much about me. I feel like, kids that feel they objectively look like such a burden. It's like,
I feel the same way.
Do you know what I mean?
I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would my mum and dad care so much about this little bundle of cells? I don't understand. They would just kill themselves.
But it matters. But we know parenting matters. We know parents that build up their kids' confidences, parents that are capable of building their kids' confidence really, really matters, as opposed to telling a kid constantly that they do everything wrong. Like, that'll hurt the kid for the rest of their life. And they're going to have to do a tremendous amount of work to overcome that, It's interesting, even on this, overlaid with this, is the idea that populations in the Western world are actually declining because we're having less and less kids. We're actually making it more about ourselves. We want to work longer. We want to achieve our career goals. And now having kids and that sort of active service of parenting has now become deprioritized. And it's a real problem for the Western world because of the, aging population. And very often for selfish reasons, like I want to live my life.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think to your point, I think we have forgotten that we're social animals. I mean, just go back a few years, a few decades, right? So Second World War, right? The camaraderie. I mean, think about what happened in America and in Britain during the Second World War. So during the Blitz, the number of people who sent their children to the countryside and they stayed back to support the war effort, okay? They didn't move to the countryside with their children. They could have. They think about the insanity of that right now, that parents sent their children to the country to be safe, to be raised by another family, with the full expectation that they may never see their kids again because they might die in the Blitz, right? Like, that is incomprehensible to a modern day. And yet that made total sense, that we stayed back to support the war effort and to be a part of it, and we sent the kids to the country. In the United States, more people died by suicide who didn't get called to action. The shame of not being called to serve was more overwhelming than the call to service. There were more suicides in the United States from people who didn't get called to serve.
What does this say about the Gen Z, the millennial now, that's trying to decide which direction to take their life in? But, it says, go be a lawyer is the clear incentive because I'll get paid more, or people will be more proud of me on Instagram. If you're saying that service, and it also sounds like intertwined within there, a little bit of challenge is so central to being happy. How does the young person decide, build their life roadmap? What do they need to be adding to that roadmap? I've got this kid in my head that is currently behind a video game screen. He's spending all his time on the internet watching certain male influencers that are telling him to be individualistic. He doesn't have a romantic relationship in the world, doesn't have any friends. He's not really leaving the house much, not going to the gym at all. Often referred to these individuals as being incels on the internet. Yeah. And the rise in that type of individual, according to a lot of people I've spoken to, is rising because of the nature of the world and disconnection and lack of friendship and all these things. Yeah. What do you say to that person who's probably a guy looking at the statistics?
Well, you've talked to Scott Galloway.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about this. And I don't think we talk enough about this as it relates to extremism and terrorism and things like that. Where you take a 24, 25, 26, 27-year-old incel virgin with no social life. There's a lot of pent up frustration there. And that comes out in all kinds of screwed up ways, usually anger, usually victimization. Addictions, vengeful behavior, antisocial behavior. And if you look at, even just in and this is not a current statistic, this is decades and decades and decades, but you look at sort of the rise of religious extremism in the Middle East, you take a shame-based society where you're 24, 25, 26 years old, you're living at home, you're a virgin. The only way you can leave the house is if you get a job, and if you get it, you won't get a girlfriend, and i.e. a wife, i.e. have sex, until you get a job and move out of the house. And so there's and you're in a shame-based society, the pressures are extreme, and the anger is extreme. So I think this idea of not knowing how to make friends and finding online community of people who are, where we all support each other's victimhood is incendiary.
I could never imagine Simon Sinek in one of your books telling people
that they were losers,
and that they suck.
Oh, yeah, I never do that.
But when I look at Andrew Tate's approach, in his videos, multiple videos and tweets, he really mocks the people that he's speaking to. He says, your life sucks, you're an absolute loser. And then he tries to offer them a roadmap.
Yeah.
And it seems to work.
Yeah, of course it works.
Why?
Because you're validating their feelings of victimhood, you're affirming it, and then offering them a way out. Because if you simply say, everyone can be a winner, and I don't feel like a winner, you're not talking to me. But if I say, you've been forgotten, look, we do it in work all the time. It's like the corporation doesn't care about you. The corporation prioritizes its profits over you. You're like, yeah, you're disposable. Yeah. It's kind of a rhetorical clickbait, right? Because what you're doing is you're validating someone's feelings. You make them feel not alone in their loneliness and victimhood. And then you offer them, but you're not just berating them, you're offering them a validation and then a way out of that feeling. And it's not wrong. It's too much. It's totally fine for you and I to say, look, if you feel like your career isn't going anywhere, and yet you have ideas that you think of how you can do it better, maybe an entrepreneur life is for you. We're saying similar things. Mm-hmm. The difference is we're not berating people, right? But we definitely want people to feel seen, right? I just think, when you play in the extremes, you're playing in the extremes. And so you're going to get extreme behaviors, extreme reactions, You could do the same thing to the same people without riling them up. Because emotions are a powerful thing, right? And so you're playing with the delta. I'm going to push you down even harder, and then I'm going to show you that I can lift you even higher. And that must make me the savior because the delta is so much bigger.